All right, so this is the first multiplying polynomial problem. Now, as I said to you guys, that it's not that difficult. You just have to be very careful. I'm going to distribute one thing at a time. He has 2, he has 2. So first I'm going to take the 2x and I'm going to go boom, boom, and multiply those. And then I'm going to take the 1 and go boom, boom, and multiply those. This is your FOIL thing. You're going to do first, outer, inner, last. All right, one thing at a time. I was going to do it in red, but I don't need to. So my first guy. So you have 2 times 1, which is 2, x times x, which is x squared. There's the first times the first. That's the F in your FOIL. Now I'm going to do the last guys. The first guy times the last guy. This is the outer, right? F, O in the FOIL. So you're going to do 2x times -3. So that gives me -6x. Now I'm done. I used them up. I'm ready to move on to this dude. I'm going to go underneath with this guy. So I'm going to do the inner part, right? This is, again, it's FOIL. 1 times x is +1. Now, I like to write it underneath. I like to indent 1 and then go underneath so everything is lined up. 1 times -3 is -3. Now, the convenient way, now I got to combine my terms here. He has no one to go with. I drop him straight down. I have -6x's plus 1x. That's -5x's. And then I have a -3. And this is it. Nothing else will combine. There's nothing else to do. Now, look, some of you want to write it this way. I'm okay with it. I mean, if you want to write it all out like this in one line and then, combine them, this is going to be more convenient. You'll see. I'm going to do the example with the double times the triple, the binomial, trinomial. That one, I'm definitely going to write like this because it's more convenient. This is okay. If you want to do this, I'll live, as long as you combine your like terms correctly. Okay, so that's the first one. All right, keeping my fingers crossed the webcam doesn't get blurry. So now again, I'm going to multiply binomial times binomial. Numbers are a little bigger this time, so I have to be careful. I'm going to multiply the first times the first, so 4x and 4x. 4 times 4 is 16. X times x is x squared. So first is done. Now I got to do outer. So I'm going to do 4x times -5, which is -20x. Don't forget the letter. Now I'm going to do the inner, right? F-O-I-L, FOIL, right? FOIL. That's what FOIL is. FOIL is nothing more than you distributing one term at a time. First you do him, 1, 2. Then you do the second guy, 1, 2. So +5 times 4x is +20x. Ooh, interesting. And then 5 times -5 is -25. Now I'm going to add straight up and down. Well, 16x squared. Now here's going to be my problem. I have a +20x and a -20x. Those make 0. If you had 20x's and you lost 20x's, this is not x. You can't write an x here. You don't have 1x left. You had 20 and you lost 20. You have 0. You have none. So the x's cross out completely and go away. And then -25 is left over. So that's it. The middle is crossed out. The outer and the inner, they're wiped out. So you get 6x squared minus 25. All right, so this is going to be the final binomial times binomial one. This one is much more complicated because it has a lot of minus signs in it, and it has a lot of letters. Both terms in each binomial have letters. So you have to really watch what you're doing here. So I'm going to do my first. I'm going to do the same thing. FOIL. First, outer, inner, last. Whatever. We don't need these stupid acronyms. We know we're just going to do one at a time. So x times -4x. Put a little 1 there if you want. 1 times -4 is -4. X times x is x squared. So that's the first dude. Now I got to do the outer. I have x times y. Well, what the hell do you write? Well, first of all, I have 1 times -1. So that's going to be -1. If you want to put the 1, put the 1. I have x times y. So you just write xy. You don't need that 1 there. If you want to put it to help you, put it. There's no reason not to put it there. Now, I have to be, so he's all used up. I have to be very careful here now. I'm going to do the inner part. I have a -2 times a -4. That's +8, right? A negative times a negative is positive. Now I have yx. So should I write yx? And then you're like, what the hell? This is crazy. The thing is, you're multiplying x and y together. It does not matter. Multiplication is really cool because if I do 2 times 3, I get 6. If I do 3 times 2, I get 6. Multiplication, the word for this is called commutative. It goes both ways. So it doesn't matter which letter you write first. When you have different letters, always, always, always write them in alphabetical order. So even though I'm multiplying and I see yx, I'm going to write xy. I am not going to write yx. I'm going to write the way the one above it looks. Alphabetical order. Okay, so you need to be very careful when you do that. And I needed to point it out to you. That's why I did this example. So now I'm going to do -2 times -1, which is +2. And I'm going to have y times y, which is y squared. Now I got to put all this crap together. It looks nasty, but it's not that bad. This dude drops straight down. Got no one to combine with, so it's -4x squared. I had 8 xy's, and I lose 1 xy. That's why I put the 1 there, so you don't forget. 8 take away 1 is +7. xy, the letters don't go away. You had xy, so they're still there. And then plus 2y squared. All right, so this is the much harder one. It's harder because you have a lot of minus signs to keep track of, and you have multiple letters. You have x and y. We're going to multiply. This is quite advanced. The binomial times the trinomial. Now, I'm going to point out first that FOIL does not work here. All right, you can't do first, outer, inner, last when, you know, you have 2 things here and 3 things there. That doesn't work. So again, what you're going to do is, you know, this, I know this doesn't look good. I'm going to just pretend that all I have is 3x times this. This 3x has to hit him, and her. It has to hit them all, right? You have to hop the fence and say hello to everybody in the party, even if you hate them. And then I'm going to do the -4 times first, and then the middle one, and then the last one. So I'm going to end up with 6 terms all together. So I'm going to try to do it real carefully. As soon as I put that piece of paper there, it just messed up the board. So I'm going to do 3x. First, I'm going to do 3x times 2x squared. Again, it helps if you take your finger in your hand and you actually cover that. I mean, I tell people to do this. It's a lot of stuff to keep track of. 3 times 2 is 6. Now, I have x times x2. This is x1 and x2. So remember, you add the powers. So it's x3. Now I got to do this guy times the one in the middle here. So I do 3 times -5, which is -15. I'm doing x times x, which is x2. You got to do this real slow and real careful, or you're going to screw it up. Now I'm going to do the guys at the end. I have 3x times the +1. Well, that's hard. Done. Him times boom, boom, boom. First, middle, end. So I distributed him completely, so now I'm done with him. So I can cover him up with my hand and my finger. Now, I am going to line these vertically, up and down. I'm going to indent one. You'll see why it's going to look really nice that way. I'm going to do the second guy times the first. So -4 times 2 is -8. I have an x squared that goes along for the ride. See why I'm lining them up? Now I'm going to go here. -4 times -5 is +20. He's got an x, so I got to keep that x. And then at the very end, I'm going to do -4 times +1, which is -4. See how they line up? x3, x2, x1, none. 3, 2, 1, none. The x's will always do this, the powers. You'll get 3, then you'll get 2, then you'll get 1, then you'll get none. Him, I'm going to drop down because he has no one to combine with. Now just watch your, if you screw up your sign rules, like, oh, it's -7. No, it's like it's +7. No, they're both negative. So I have to add these numbers together. I have to do 15 plus 8. 15 plus 8 is 23. And then I have a negative that I have to keep. So it's -23 x squared. Now here I have a +20 and a +3. That one's easy. Oh, interesting. Now, don't do nothing stupid and say, oh, -23 and +23. That's 0. I can cross them out. This is x2 and this is x1. Now, the irony is I completely made up this problem at random, so this is a total coincidence that they're both, but it was a good coincidence because you can see you might be tempted to try to combine these together, or even these. These are different creatures. The x3 creature does not go with the x2 creature. Now I'm going to drop the last dude down. Boom. So I got 3, 3. And when I combine them all together, I got x3, x2, x1, none. All right, so this is the binomial times the trinomial. This is very advanced. All right, this is harder, but this is a question that shows up on the final. And, you know, it's an important skill. You need to be able to do this.